All the examples we've seen, him suing Showtime for $300 million, him foreclosing on multiple properties, him losing on investments on multiple properties, him buying a lot of depreciating assets, and him all of a sudden looking to box very much in the year 2026. Floyd losing money Mayweather, as the chatter says, is in dire straits financially.
Because they don't like him. They don't like him because everything that he says is about money. There's nothing else. There's no values. There's no, like the people's champ, like Ali was standing for the same things.
Right.
The audience was standing for. You know, he doesn't have any of that. It's just money. You know what I'm saying? And that, he knows you don't like him.
Some people will say, you know, he's suing now because of his gambling habits, which was not hidden. It was not a secret. He would post, not Teddy Atlas talking about anything that wasn't out there. He would post some of his tickets, his betting tickets that he bet, and they were large bets. And so some people will say, oh yeah, like you said, he was Mayweather, Money Mayweather, and now he's suing because he went through his money, blew his money, whatever.
Once considered among the richest personalities in sports, Floyd Mayweather is currently right now facing a noticeable downturn in his circumstances. The boxing world is expressing both concern and irritation as legal troubles start closing in on him. He may even confront a lawsuit from Manny Pacquiao after his latest comments regarding their fight situation today.
Joy, we are not one of these sick people, and I call them sick, I'm not afraid to say what I feel, that's sitting their underwear in grandmother's basement or wherever the frick they are, taking pot shot at people because of their misery, because of their misfortune, because they're in a bad place. Shame on you. And shame on the people out there. I know that there's some of them, everyone knows I don't really read that internet unless somebody shows me specifically some stuff. And I saw some of the stuff. I didn't want to see any more, so I told them, don't show me anymore. But I saw enough to see what was out there. People taking shots at a great fighter, Mayweather. Probably the same people that were, applauding him and saying how great he was at one point, and now they're taking shots at him like they're almost, like they get pleasure out of seeing a great.
New reports suggest that Mayweather's fortune might be exaggerated, highlighting liens, foreclosures, debts, and heavily leveraged assets such as property and a private jet, while creditors are allegedly chasing him over unpaid jet fuel bills. Additionally, Mayweather ignited controversy through remarks about Manny Pacquiao fight, claiming it was an exhibition despite receiving professional fight advance, placing him at serious legal risk.
Today, the fight weekend of Fundora and Thurman. Apparently, he did an interview, said that it was an exhibition, that these guys didn't have anything to prove, that their legends were already set in stone, and that it would be an exhibition. He wasn't sure if it was going to be at the Sphere. Apparently, that is not true. According to a Boxing Scene article that interviewed Jaz Mathur, the CEO of Manny Pacquiao Promotions, said that, yes, the fight is contracted for the Sphere, booked at the Sphere, scheduled at the Sphere for September 19th. It is booked as a professional fight, not as an exhibition. It was never booked as an exhibition, which makes sense because Netflix got behind it, and I would assume that they would not want an exhibition. We said the other day, I think it was actually yesterday, we said that this fight has to be a real fight and not an exhibition because, one, Netflix is involved, two, Manny Pacquiao wants that get back, and two, also just betting lines. It's a huge aspect of this sport and this.
On Twitter, Mike Carpenter pointed out Floyd Mayweather's controversial statements, explaining his comments clearly contradicted Netflix's official announcement and warned that he might be in breach of contract if he keeps pushing the narrative of turning it into an exhibition. Meanwhile, Wade Plemon also mentioned that after accepting signing and advance payments for a professional fight, Floyd calling it an exhibition appears like an effort to mislead both Netflix and Manny's team. It was further claimed he had done something similar during the Logan Paul bout by marketing it under a different name and branding for a reported $10 million cash agreement.
Off. Something's completely off because you got one person saying, this is a real fight. You got the promotion saying, this is a real fight. You got Floyd Mayweather saying, no, this is an exhibition. There's two things that are happening here. Either somebody messed up in paperwork or in communication or in some form of getting this fight together, misspoke to one of these guys, or Floyd Mayweather is trying to scam Netflix. That is the only two things that can be possible here. Because we then get the report, as of yesterday, that Floyd Mayweather has already taken a cash advance payment of his purse for the upcoming Manny Pacquiao rematch on Netflix, despite it currently being in jeopardy. I don't even know how that's possible. Who gave him a cash advance before they even got to the fight? I understand like paying some up front to secure the fight, but paying everything? Maybe it's not what it is. Maybe the cash advance is like...
Teddy Atlas called the situation deeply unfortunate, explaining that many fighters often lack proper guidance when managing their finances and making smart money decisions. He further stated that this seems to be exactly what has taken place in Floyd Mayweather's particular situation.
They risk everything. They risk so much. And then everything they took the risk for sometimes is lost. Whether it was Joe Louis, whether whoever. It never becomes not sad or unfortunate to hear. Never. It's a... Yeah, and look, you could say it's their responsibility. It is. It is. You got to know what's going on. But there are also sharks in this business, in any business. And sometimes these athletes, I wouldn't even specify fighters. We're talking about fighters. But you hear it in football, Bud. You were around it. You hear it in basketball. Sometimes these athletes, they don't have the right people around them to look out for them. You know, to properly educate them, to properly advise them. Hey, some don't.
Jonah Reinitz is a controversial businessman and close associate of Floyd Mayweather Jr. Is often described as a key figure in managing Mayweather business and real estate investments and fight opinions on Zait's show. Pacquiao team is threatening litigation against Floyd Mayweather over the spear fight on Netflix is not the only lawsuit threat against Floyd or his top associate, Jonah Reinitz. Jonah was expected to go to prison, but now there is new twist. Manny says it is a real fight and he will not take part in an exhibition. Floyd has signed a contract, so he must fight professionally as Manny insists on a legitimate sanctioned bout.
Exhibition and not a real fight? Is that what he's feeling? But he signed a real fight.
So it's for sure?
Yes, the contract that we signed is a real fight.
Real fight, okay. Yeah, because I know he said...
I want to fight an exhibition.
No exhibition. It's either real fight or nothing.
Yeah, it's a real fight. Yeah.
The spear still in Las Vegas?
That's the contract that he signed. I mean.
Yeah. Okay, so it's still happening then?
He has to
Joe Rogan stated that Floyd Mayweather stayed for over a decade as boxing's top American star. Back then, he defeated Manny Pacquiao in 2015 in what was the most expensive fight at that time, showing elite defense, fast hands, and a money-made persona that fueled his fame and wealth.
Pretty boy Floyd to Money Mayweather. Changed the whole thing.
He knew what he was doing.
He definitely did. It would have been an interesting fight had he fought Pacquiao when he was younger, in his prime. It would have been a very different
Would have been
fight.
a more interesting fight.
Much more different.
Because
Much more difficult
any
fight.
go-forward physical warrior like Pacquiao is going to wear down.
Right, exactly.
And any brilliant counterpuncher like Floyd is going to retain more.
Yeah.
So he did.
Yeah, it would have been much more interesting when they were younger. Also, the fact that Pacquiao fought him with a bum shoulder. That was a disaster, too.
Money talks.
Yeah. I mean, look, I guess he was faced with this thing, legacy, it was the biggest pay-per-view of all time in boxing, correct?
I believe so.
I believe so. And I think it was like 4 million buys or something crazy like that.
It was huge.
So, like, what is that?
It was massive.
Floyd Mayweather has for years been recognized for openly showing his wealth through luxury watches, expensive cars, and casually issuing huge checks, reportedly worth millions. As if money had no limits, he created a public persona of being financially untouchable and fully confident in his fortune. However, he has now filed a lawsuit against former broadcast partner Showtime and ex-president Steven Espinosa, alleging he is owed $340 million. This legal dispute creates a sharp contrast between his flashy public lifestyle and the complex financial and contractual disputes unfolding behind the scenes, showing that even someone as wealthy and successful as Mayweather can still face serious money-related challenges overall.
18 mil retired. I know some people gonna be like, well, you said I didn't want to say I was active, because that's normal.
Right.
I said I wasn't activated. I knew what I said. So a lot of times I'm like, oh, you just said it right. I know I said it right. I know what I said. I know what I posted.
I don't really care how much you make, bro. I feel like writing an $18 million check has to feel some sort of way, though.
That's crazy.
I didn't want to do it. Of course, I'm like, who wants to give up basically 20 million?
You wrote 18,180,000,000.00. Like, bro, that's crazy.
You know, I got huge deals on the table, so I'm always making shake.
What's the biggest thing you got working right now?
I can show you this. Come here. So come here. So
Dude, what is it?
Let me keep this alone, okay? So right here.
That's crazy.
I just keep stuff on the low.
Yeah, my math don't work like that. My math.
So now, when we gonna cut it?
50 Cent says people dislike Floyd Mayweather from money-focused fights, his attitude, and constant talk about wealth and public criticism continues. Fans have always wanted Mayweather to fail publicly, yet Floyd has turned this animosity into advantage. Despite ongoing hate still, it drives pay-per-view sales and generates massive earnings, converting public resentment into profit overall. His capacity to use both admiration and criticism has made him one of boxing's most financially successful and notorious figures, showing that even criticism can still be monetized when paired with skill, confidence, and the money-made persona defining his career overall.
Something to me one time, very simple. He said, "What a prize fighter fight for?" And I'm like, and he said, "The prize." So it's okay for you to watch the fight. Don't nobody watch Floyd fight to see how amazing he is. They watch it for the opportunity to see him lose.
Right.
Because they don't like him. They don't like him because everything that he says is about money. There's nothing else. There's no values. There's no, like the people's champ, like Ali was standing for the same things.
Right.
The audience was standing for. You know, he doesn't have any of that. It's just money. You know what I'm saying? And that, he knows you.
Max Kellerman explains that fighters such as Floyd Mayweather, who overspend and fail to make smart investments, can face serious financial trouble eventually over time. He stresses that even athletes who earn huge sums of money can struggle later in life if they fail to manage it properly. Kellerman notes that uncontrolled spending without proper planning for the future leads to problems when income slows down. He uses Floyd as an example to demonstrate how poor financial planning can lead to legal battles, debt, and even a return to fighting. He concludes that careful financial management is essential for long-term stability, even for the highest-earning athletes.
Like Floyd with the 3 fights that's coming up. Floyd Mayweather, Pacquiao, Floyd Mayweather, Mike Tyson, Floyd Mayweather. I think the guy's from Greece or something like that. What do you feel about great champions doing these kind of fights as well? Or just these kind of fights that's going on?
They need money.
Damn.
Yeah, when you need money. This is the problem with boxing. You think about financial literacy, right? And you talk about like NFL players or NBA players. There's support systems for those dudes. There's nothing like that for fighters. They got to figure it out all themselves. And if you're a fighter, that means you did not have options.
Right.
Yeah. It's not like basketball or football. If you could, like, by the way, football players couldn't play basketball or they play basketball. It's a better deal, right? That's if you can, you do. And boxers couldn't do either one of those things, right? They're too small or they got hurt, whatever it is. And so you're dealing with a section of our world.
Max Kellerman criticizes Floyd Mayweather over how he manages his wealth, highlighting major spending on luxury cars, watches, and gambling habits patterns. He argues that displaying wealth without proper planning can result in financial instability issues. Kellerman adds that many athletes experience similar situations, retiring with very little remaining despite earning millions over their careers. He stresses that all high earners must manage finances carefully because impulsive spending and constant indulgence can rapidly diminish even massive fortunes over time. According to him, Floyd lifestyle serves as a warning that non-stop extravagance and ignoring smart investments can lead to serious long-term financial problems, forcing even elite athletes to face money struggles later in life.
No support or kind of structure in place to help them at all. And so what usually happens with almost every fighter who ever lived, not everyone, but most of them, is they wind up going broke at a certain point, right? First of all, taxes, child support, all that kind of stuff, that promoters, this and that, and then just the way you spend your money. Could be bad investments. You could try to do the right thing and wind up with bad investments. You could just spend too much. And the thing is, if you're not the best in the world anymore, but you're one of, let's say, the 50 best in the world at what you do in your weight class, still hard to tell that dude, you can make $100 million. No, don't do that because you're old.
Right.
Why would he not?
Wade Plemons reports that Floyd Mayweather has already received a cash advance for his scheduled rematch with Manny Pacquiao on Netflix. Even though the fight is still not officially confirmed, he questions how this was permitted, pointing out that while it is standard for fighters to receive upfront payments generally, securing the bout, paying the full advance, is highly unusual practice. ESPN and Mike Coppinger have also verified the existence of this. Advance Plemons explains that Mayweather has a long history of taking early payments and then putting pressure on promotions in order to protect his undefeated record while still maximizing earnings. He references previous exhibitions, such as fights with Deji and Logan Paul, where Floyd reportedly demanded large sums or risked backing out. Now he warns that this situation could create serious legal issues, as Pacquiao's team alleges Floyd signed multiple contracts for professional bout, has already been paid several times, and even received additional cash advances, suggesting a repeated pattern of financial disputes that may lead to lawsuits.
He believed, and this is via ESPN, this is not, random Twitter person reporting this. I think Mike Coppinger also reported the same thing. If this is to be believed, Floyd took a cash advance and then undermined the promotion of his own fight to try to protect his 50-0 record and still make a bag. Floyd has done this for years. He has done this for years, especially after his pro career. When he was doing these exhibitions, he would not show up to things he was obligated to do, take advances. Even the Deji fight, you can ask Deji, I was there. Floyd demanded that they pay him some insane amount of money or he wasn't going to fight Deji while he was at the venue. And they wanted to change gloves and do all this stuff. And I think they actually did it. They paid Floyd to do it. And I've seen this with a bunch of his exhibitions. And obviously we know about the Logan Paul situation, how Floyd shopped his fight to a different company after essentially scamming royalty like Prince, whoever,